Hey everybody, it's John here from VidGamiac.com. Here we are today back in Edna and Harvey, grabbing the Comic Nerd achievement. This is to get 25 comic interactions. Now, there are going to be a total of 40 in the game. However, you are only going to need 25 for this achievement, so we're just going to cover the first 25 in this video. This is going to be the second type of collectible. First thing you need is going to be the comic book. This can be gone after you leave the office. What you want to do is you want to make sure you head into this storage room on the right. The comic book is going to be on this shelf. Make sure you grab it as soon as possible because you will lose access to this room later on in the game. So once you have the comic, the first thing you can interact with is actually also in this room, which is going to be the light switch. All you have to do is just make sure the comic is your active item and then interact with whatever it is you're trying to interact with. So interact with the light switch and you should get a little bit of witty commentary. After that, we are going to head back to doing what we're supposed to do for the story, which is working on escaping the fourth floor. So we're going to head out the window. Once out here, make sure you equip the comic and then interact with the down below, which is the mountain underneath us. Once you have that one, just make sure you hang around the roof, and then over here should be the antenna. Make sure you equip the comic and then interact with this as well. Also, make sure you interact with the antenna like normal. That's going to save you a bunch of time for a later puzzle. Whatever the case, you are going to make your way back down. This is back on the fourth floor. Once you get back down from the roof, make sure you tip this potted plant over, and then what you want to do is you want to interact with the broken pot using the comic book, and that should knock another one out of the way. Then just wrap up whatever you're supposed to do to escape the fourth floor. Once you get access to the rest of the asylum, we should be on the third floor right now. We are just going to continue down the staircase, so just keep heading downstairs until you run out of stairs to come down. You should now be in the basement, which looks a little something like this. Once you get here for the first time, make sure you use the comic book on the painting to the right above the table and two chairs. Once you have that, we are going to now head into the cafeteria, which should be the back left door. So make sure you head on inside, and then once in here, we're just going to head to the back, which is the kitchen. So back left door, head through the kitchen, and then that should take you to this hallway. Make sure you go down these stairs, which is going to take us into the cellar, which is further in the basement. Once here, our first stop is going to be this bulletin board in the back. So make sure you equip the comic and then interact with the bulletin board. And then once we get that, we are going to be free to explore the various rooms. So we're going to start at the front of the screen and then work our way back. So first destination is going to be the green door at the bottom left of the screen. So make sure you head on inside, and this is going to take us into the furnace room. Head down the ladder. There should be a hole here. What you want to do is you want to make sure you equip the comic book and then interact with the hole using it, and that should knock this one out of the way. Once you get that, it's going to be back up the ladder to the actual furnace, and then what you want to do is you want to make sure you use the comic on the little meter thing right here. It's called the manometer, so make sure you get it. It's the thing that looks like a gauge, basically. So grab that one, and then we're going to head back the way we came. So back out the door, and then this time you want to head into the room directly across the hallway right here. This should be the archive room. What you want to do is you want to make sure you use the comic on the little filing cabinet right here next to the door. And then you also want to make sure you grab the little sticky note right above it. So just make sure you go all the way to the top. It should be the topmost thing you can interact with. So make sure you grab that, and then we are going to leave back out into the hallway. So head up the stairs, and then you want to make sure you go to the double doors on the left. This is going to be the laundry room. Make sure you head down the ladder from the scaffolding, and then you want to use the comic book on the set of washing machines to the left. So make sure you do that, and that's going to get another bit of dialogue out of the way. Once we have that, it's time to finally leave the basement. So back to the stairwell, and then we're going to make our way all the way up to the third floor. Once back up here, we are going to head over to the hallway, which is to the left, head into the room on the right. This is going to be the break room. What you want to do is you want to make sure you use the comic book on the dartboard right here behind the door. So grab that one. and then we are going to move on from here. So make sure you leave, and then we're going to head all the way back up to the 4th floor. So this is where we started out. We should now have free roam of this area since we are done with all the story-related things up here. So what we need to do is we need to head back to the cell, which is where we started the game. To go there, you need to head through the office and then through the vent and then all the way to the right. Once back here, which one you just want to make sure you equip the comic book and then interact with any of the pieces of padding. You just need to pick one and then get to the commentary one time, even though there's about a dozen of them. Once you have that, head back through the vent, and then a real missable one is going to be the propeller. Make sure you use the comic book on that before we leave, and then we should be free to navigate back through the vent into the office. So just head back the way you came and make sure you leave through this opening. Once back in the office, there's going to be a total of 2 things in here that you can use the comic book on: the desk chair as well as the window. So make sure you get those 2 out of all of the things in here. Those are the only 2 that you can use the comic book on and will count towards this achievement. So once we have those 2, we should now be done with this part of the asylum. So just continue on with the story until you get transported to the other half of the asylum. Once you are here for the first time, you can use the comic book on this lamp by the back door right here. And then which one do you want to make sure you head to where this telephone sign is, and that should take you to the little phone alcove. Once here, there are 2 things you can use the comic book on. You have the telephone sign, which should be right next to you, and then you have the telephone dial. So make sure you choose the dial itself instead of any of the other pieces that make up the phone. So just make sure you get the giant circle with the small circles on it, and that should take care of this little corner. So back out into the rec room, make sure you head to the doors to your left. This should take you to this hallway right here. Once here, we have a few stops we need to make, but before we make those, we are going to use the comic book on the poster on the left door. So make sure you grab that, and then our first destination in this hallway is going to be the bottom left room. So head on inside here. This should be the bathroom. Make sure you turn the light switch on, which should play a cutscene where this character is going to pop out. Use the comic book on her. She will count as 1 towards the achievement, so make sure you do that and listen to the snappy commentary. Once you have that done, you should be pretty much done, at least with this particular achievement in here. So make sure you leave, and then we're going to head across the hallway into the only room on the right. Make sure you use the comic book on the shelving right here. So make sure you do that, and we actually have 1 more towards the achievement, which is going to be in this room towards the back right here. So hit up the back left room, which should be the bar, and the last thing you need for this achievement is going to be the bartender. So make sure you equip the comic book and then use it on him. That should be the 25th comic interaction. However, once again, there are a total of 40 in the game, so if you don't get the achievement yet, you can try experimenting with a few other objects later on. But there's the achievement, 100 gamer score, and that's all there is to it.